How is everybody?
You know what we still haven't done is come on here in a fucking costume.
Oh my gosh. How have we gone through?
I don't know.
Oh no, well, we only went, oh my gosh.
We've gone through 2 Halloweens.
Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out. I was like, have we?
Bitch,
How
in
does
2
the calendar work?
in 2 months, we're gonna hit
You know.
2 years.
I know. That's why in my head I was like, oh,
Like,
if it's
what?
2 years, you'd have to have 2 Halloweens. Like 2 years. 2 years. 2 years.
That's so
Holy
crazy.
shit. It's wild to me. It's wild. Like I think a Snapchat memory or something came up from like 3 years ago, and it was I think like a picture of the equipment or something. I don't know what it was. But I was
We
like,
got it
oh,
around
it's
this time, I think.
yeah, I was like, oh, it's starting to become real, and I was like, oh, it's so real. Like, yeah, we literally are doing it.
Yes.
That's so awesome as it relates to goals and manifestations and dreams and whatnot.
So crazy.
When's the last time you checked our stream count?
I do check it pretty often. Do you want me to look at it right now?
I do, because I kind of, since we're, obviously this is coming out in the beginning, not obviously, why would that be obvious? But this will be coming out in January. But my goal was 20,000 streams by the end of the year, which I am not going to be disheartened at all if we aren't close. But I feel like we're like...
Bitch, we are 17 away from 18,000 though.
I knew we were so close!
We're at 17,983.
Oh, we're doing it. We're going to get to 18K. There's no way we can't. There's no way we're not.
That's so crazy.
Because we're releasing one on Wednesday. Yeah. Oh, we're for sure going to get to 18K.
18,000 times people have listened to us and our banter.
our bullshit. 18,000 times. Man, we love you guys for it.
Dude, for real.
So, since this is coming out in January, and because doing, we had just, what?
Yeah.
Listened to, watched, I don't know, I guess it would be watched our Spotify Wrapped in the past month. And the most popular episode was our body image episode. Was the most popular, one of the most popular, either way, it was
I think it was
popular.
the most listened to.
Yeah, okay. So the most popular was the body image one. So we thought we would have just a nice short little suite for our subscribers, discussion on how to be nicer or speak nicer to ourselves in our head as it relates to our body and the habits we may be forming in this new year. Because I think it's pretty safe to say that we all look at New Year's resolutions. I'm not saying we all have health and fitness New Year's resolutions, but I would say if you were to poll just 100 standard people, that I would say 90%, well, maybe like 85% of it would be related to health and fitness or health and wellness, right?
I agree.
And so that's kind of where we wanted to have this jump off into, is discussing the way that we speak to ourselves about the habits that we're forming, but then also as it relates to our body. I know that I can get really trapped in my head with not nice language towards myself. And it's not even, not nice language towards myself. Cause it's like, just like, oh, you look disgusting. Like, I don't think I'm disgusting. I don't think that I am fat, but like, well, no, I think that I am fat, but I don't, I would say that the meaning behind it is different. I don't know if that makes sense. Like 10 years ago, I definitely was like, you're fat, you're disgusting, yuck, trash. Like how you would assume like keyboard warriors are like writing on people's things of like trash,
like you're
bitch,
trolling
fat.
yourself.
Yeah. Yes. Right. But like in my head now, like I do hold such a giant space for the fact that my body is the least interesting thing about me. Like there are so many other things about me that I value and that I bring to the table, that my body is a physical suit that is housing my soul, and my soul is what is the most important. That being said, I feel like I have an 80% of the time view in that aspect, and then the other 20% is in that just like, you're disgusting, blah, 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 like why? And I think it is compounded on the fact that I don't really understand why I'm at the weight I'm at right now.
Sure.
And I don't know what I weigh, but I do know that I've definitely gained weight because I've had to buy bigger clothes and things like that. But I think that's what compounds that, is that I feel very helpless because not much has changed. I still lift. I still work, like I work out daily. I just don't, I'm very limited onto the things that I can eat. I don't really buy a bunch of like junky snack foods, one, because it's so expensive, but then two, because I know that I don't have self-control with it. So it is confusing to me as to like how I got to this point. Mm-hmm. However, I am getting older. Stress is definitely something that plays a part and whatnot. So when I'm speaking to myself or have those moments of where I'm like, you're disgusting, you're this, I try to, it's like a dialogue in my head, right? Like I don't write these things down, but I try to in my head. Like I start listing off of the things that are different variables at play now versus when I compare myself to when I was like 2018, I was probably my smallest. Yeah, 2018, I was my smallest. So I try to look at like, what did 2018 Mari go through and what did her life look like versus what Mari is going through right now. 2022 Mari, 2023 Mari, like who knows what 2023 is going to bring.
I also feel like the different kinds of stress that people experience will cause different reactions to your body, right? So like 2018 is when I decided I was getting a divorce. So that stress is different than the stress of like owning a business. Do you know what I'm saying? Where I feel like it then plays a different part in your body. I do believe that your body does hold stress and that makes you hold weight and things like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know why I was just thinking about that.
Well, I definitely, and I think it's different for different people. Sure. Because I was the smallest. I was the smallest in 2018, but like I was small after my divorce.
Yes,
like,
you were.
I was thinner after my divorce, and 2018 was more like financial stress, like a lot of financial stress in 2018. And so I'm kind of also like, damn, was I even eating enough? Like maybe that's why I was so small, because I really was like, I had to be very, very, very diligent and mindful of like how much I was spending. But then too, I was waitressing a lot.
And that's a lot of fucking moving and not eating because you're working.
Very, very true. So I was waitressing a lot. So there was that too. And so I would say this stress now of like having a business and what that looks like, I think that it takes less of a physical toll on me because it's not as financially rooted, if that makes sense. Essentially, though, getting back to the point of this is like speaking to myself in a way that is purposeful. It's not purposeful for me to tell myself that I hate myself or that I think I'm disgusting or that, you know, I'm fat or I'm this or I'm that. I'm like, it's not helpful. That's not going to get me to where I want to be. Correct. I don't necessarily think that where I want to be is more comfortable in my body and my clothes. That is what I say to myself constantly, and or how I write my goals. It's I don't want to be a certain weight. I don't want to be a certain size. That doesn't make sense. All the different brands out there, I fit differently. You know, being a certain weight, I've been, you know, tiny, you know, and I didn't look like how I looked when I was at my smallest. So like my most fit is the better way to say that. My most fit. So because I was 2010 sick as shit, I think I got down to like 142 and I looked deathly ill, but I didn't look as good in my opinion as I looked in 2018. And I was, I think the lowest I got was 152. So that was a 10-pound difference. And 152 wasn't bad. Like 155 was like where I was sitting. So like, it's entirely different. So I think it's trying to have space for myself to know that one, there's many different variables at play here. I need to pay attention to that. There's different stressors in my life, and it does me no good to sit here and wish I could go back to a certain place, because I 2018 Mari didn't and hasn't gone through what 2020 Mari or 2022 Mari has gone through. It's not fair to sit there and do those comparisons because you lived a whole 4 years.
Well, and that was your pilgrim budget, right? You weren't doing much. Whereas like I
wasn't doing anything.
Mari is living her best life, going places all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
we're like,
very true.
Not that you hated your life in 2018, but it was a very different lifestyle than it
is.
Very
different. Yeah, no, I was definitely, That definitely pilgrim budget for sure. And also I was lifting pretty heavy in 2018 because the gym was open. Yeah. So like there was so many different variables at play. So I think that's the first part is paying attention to the different variables that are at play. Mm-hmm. And when we're speaking to ourselves, making sure that those are present and in our mind instead of just having this same expectation, because 4 years has happened for me, at least, and depending on where you're at, maybe years happen, maybe 6 months has happened. Like there's so many different things.
And what I tell people all the time when I talk about mindset stuff is like, I get, especially if you're an athlete, right? There's this idea that you are a drill sergeant to people to get them to do what you want them to do and to like motivate them to do better. That's not a fucking thing.
It's not effective. There's studies.
Like, yes, that's not helpful. Here's what's funny though. We both got on the Zoom earlier today and I was like, man, I was such a piece of shit yesterday. I didn't do anything all day. And now I'm like, bitch, you weren't a piece of shit. You were just relaxed. Right. We have gotten really good at calling ourselves out when we do say stupid shit like that of like, I'm not disgusting. I just feel gross in my body today. Right. Mm-hmm. And like acknowledging the difference. If you say I am disgusting, I am fucking fill in the blank, you're identifying that as that's who you are as a whole ass person versus I feel this way. And again, like we've told you guys, feelings are not facts. Just because I feel disgusting doesn't mean I am disgusting. Right.
Mm-hmm. And viewing it as a data point. What is the data point trying to tell us? Okay. Feeling disgusting. Well, I'm typically an active person and I was not active yesterday. Well, what was going on? It was a holiday. I wanted to rest. The rest was okay. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So then I'm allowing myself, giving myself grace of like, that's necessary. I can do that. Like permission, giving yourself permission.
Correct.
That those things are okay. And then I don't have to be doing something constantly versus like just an everyday week of like, typically I'm an active person and I'm on day 4 of not moving my body and that doesn't feel good. Okay. That's a data point to call you to action of let's start doing something. Let's get moving then.
Or the same thing as a woman with your hormones in flux.
Yes.
You feel gross when you're on your period or close to your period because like you are